Great. So I wanted to briefly talk about and show some examples about how we're going to do intermission phase 2 and phase 3. So this video will show you melee position during intermission. This is basically just how melee are going to do the dance. There's a key point about, well, basically how easy it is as a melee.
If you are melee is you can actually just do this very safely. As soon as these ads spawn, you can do what I do, stand off until the ads spawn, and then you can run in. And then this laser doesn't actually activate until it gets to like right about here. It does the little animation first, so it's actually safe to be where I just was. And then we're just cleaving these ads down, and you actually can then just never dodge out if you are melee in this set. It's totally fine. You can just run all the way over to the left here. And this laser will not reach you before the end of the intermission here. So this looks hard. It looks like you'd have to do some dancing here, but I just had all of our melee just run over here. You don't get into this. You're not taking this ground effect, and that laser just despawns right here. I don't know. They forgot to make the fight hard.
All right, simple enough. So here's just a raid plan of how the image works, right? You're staying out here where the boss starts. You run forward, but off of where the ads spawn. Laser doesn't activate till when you get past it, so you're starting on this line. And then the laser will actually never get to you, so you can just stand across on this edge. All right, phase 2. So these are the soak positions. Like it says, these are subject to being changed. We have our first soak over on Ava's side. Second soak is on Ben's side. I have the unholy DKs in both soaks. These things can be changed. Melee, you either want to hug the blue walls or directly down the middle. Same with the range that have dropped off bombs and don't want to die. All right, so I briefly want to just talk about how P2 works. So there's the soak cones. It requires a minimum of 5 people, but we assign 6 just to be safe. You don't stack. There's a little quake effect, and we get a big heal absorb. Suppression, just like before, you run away. You should look behind you and plan your route in advance. We kind of have scripted movement and where people should go just to make sure that swirlies don't cause wipes because of frantic running. And then we have the biggest, baddest bomb blast. These are those big circles. You have a lot of time to get out with them, bring them to the edges, or clear an area if you're in the middle, like Jug will be, right, or Sire. These apply blazes, and then you have the 3 million damage fire circles. With your blazes, you get out and you plant. If a 3 million damage fire circle is placed on you, you just tank it, don't run in, or at least you can make that kind of judgment. The 3 million damage fire circles tend to not land where the bombs went off, so everyone that doesn't have the bomb should be prepared to run into those where those circles went off, just to be safe. General tips for P2 and P3: swirls after bigger bomb blasts tend to not land where the big bombs went off. Electricity field zone denial only does about 3 million damage per second. For the start of P3 beam rotation, melee could choose to step into it for a couple seconds at the very end. It actually seems like it doesn't even reach that far on P3 as well. Soak cones locked in where it was at the start of the cast, even if the visual looks like it's moving. And then Marsh from Consequence, one of the videos I have linked at the beginning, suggests stacking up with a buddy for suppression to assist with swirls. And so here's the general idea of what it would look like. Now, obviously, the lightning might block your route a little bit, which is why you should be planning your movement in advance. This is just a general rule system so that we don't cut each other off. Now, here's an example of that movement.
Watch your feet. Right now, watch your feet. Don't get stunned.
Okay. Just, it's about how you move in general. It's not super complicated. It's just about making things nice and easy. For the first soak of P3, they put the angle like this. We could put this in the middle, where there's space on the left and on the right. I generally think that we should. I think that that'll make things easier. But this is what the front looks like. Here's the second cone. This is kind of more the angle I'm looking for. I try to draw with these pink lines kind of the width of the soak cone, but it should be fairly easy for people to know to step outside or to not be in the cone if you're not assigned to be it. These are the biggest, baddest bomb blast swirls.
Is that those bombs will tend to not land where the circle was, where the spread person went. So right there, what happened was we had people spread on this side, and I know all right, if I run to the left here, there's not going to be a lot of bombs there. There might be one or two, but there's not going to be a lot of bombs inside where this circle was. So as soon as it goes off, I can just run left. You can also look and see where the bombs are on the ground. But yeah, you can see this entire area pretty much clear. Very easy mechanic. Again, just don't move with the blade.
So do keep in mind, like you mentioned, you can actually see the bombs before the red circle spawns. We also do get the beam still. We're generally just trying to make sure we don't bait it down the middle towards Merit or Mewtwo, as they're previous bomb holders. We don't want them to die. If we see the beam spawn like this, we want to make sure that we have somebody with immunities to clean up the bombs, the little lightning circles, so that they don't get, run into and stunned. The person doesn't get stunned. Now, they do get cleared naturally, so if they're not terrible, we can just leave them, but something to keep in mind and to look out for. This is briefly just for Ben, really, Merit, and Mewtwo, but this is how the Prot Warrior Dunk Rescue works.
So feet, 3, 2, 1. Feet. Oh.
So in the clip, Mirrors gets slow-falled, he jumps off. As soon as, the bomb disappears, Mewtwo will cast Rescue and get him back. Alright, so for soak defensives, Mavel and Jug just in general are going to be backup soaks in case people die. This third soak of P2, which is at 608, requires strong personals or immunities. This is Dotsie Gun, Callie, Maeve, Cleo, and Ava. We will have these planned out. The seventh soak, which is the third soak of P3 at 920, which hopefully we don't even get, which targets group 1 again, also requires strong personals and or immunities. So we'll roughly have these planned out, hopefully. But the soakers, please look up and think about how you're going to be using your defensives. All right, now phase 3. P3 is basically the same thing, except we're trapped now in only a single quadrant. So the beam at the start of P3 does not fully cut up the quadrant, it seems. It stops right before the lightning area denial, but if for whatever reason you do need a dip in the lightning, it's only actually like 3 million damage per second, which is, pretty survivable for a tick or two. The soak cone is locked in where it was at the start of the cast, even if the visual bugs. The bigger, badder bomb blasts need to go to the edge of the room. Overload coils are the soft and rage. Alright, so P3 is basically the same as P2. Beam at the start of P3 does not fully cut up the quadrant, at least that's how it seems in the VODs. It stops right before the lightning area denial, but if for whatever reason you need, you could dip into the 3 million damage per second. Soak cone is locked in where it was at the start of the cast, even if the visual bugs. The bigger, badder bomb blasts need to go to the edge of the room. Overload coils is the soft and rage that ramps up at the very end. Generally speaking, if there's really bad blue lightning orbs, we want to have somebody eat them with an immunity, looking at like maybe Poppy most likely. So this shows where I want the frontals to go in P3. The melee that aren't in the soaks are not stacked up in their images, but you guys can be stacked up. It's just so you can all see yourselves. I want the soaks to go in these directions as best we possibly can, with Merit and Mewtwo always in the middle behind Star and nice and safe. For the start of P3, like we said, just like P2, you want to start on this side of the beam again. You'll end up moving and conflicting information, but it looks like the beam actually won't get all the way to the edge. For start of P3 melee movement, we end up seeing something like this. Much like the previous one, with a ROP to bring these ads in, and then CC rotation, which we are using the Pop-Tart Corn Dog CC rotation for. People are running around, but it seems like we don't need to. See, it just ends right before. Alright, for the second soak of P3, this is the kind of angle I want it to be, where we don't have a purple marker here, I don't believe, but this is kind of where I want people to be standing to be safe. For P3's second soak, you should here look at the people moving out. See all the range running down at the bottom edge. For the bigger, badder bomb blasts, just like before, you have 7 seconds. Just get to the edges. Everyone else can and should try to stack to bait the small bombs. best you can. Everyone without a bomb should try to stack and bait, just like in this picture as well.
CCs.
So curses go out, they kick these ads in.
I'm gonna sack you.
Right, they waited for
Second
that beam to
round.
start here, and then they were
Get ready
good.
for second
Now they're gonna
kick.
follow
The
it
first kick.
around.
Back one, kick now. Middle one, kick.
The casts are
Okay,
desynced, so it's a
Cleamy,
little
you
bit
might need to
easier.
disperse here.
Just remember we have to kick late.
Disperse. Okay, died. Good.
He called disperse
Get to
because
your
the
side.
cast was about to go off. The second cast.
Remember your defensive script. First frontal on left coming up. And then it's gonna be
So like
suppression.
like I said, you can see
Make
who
sure
it's
you're
on
in.
based on the circles.
Suppression. Watch your feet. Baiting
So
fire.
suppression's coming out, so they're gonna start moving together. See how they
After
move
that, it's
together.
gonna be the big bombs, and then there you want to practice.
I want to avoid
baiting
what
the
just happened
satchels.
with them.
So big bombs going out on people now. Everyone else try to
Bigger,
find the cover
better
and
bomb
bait the
blasts.
satchels.
Right, but move.
And then watch the satchels and the blazes and baiting the frontal.
The blazes, you can look
Then it's
and
gonna
see
be
the
a
bombs
frontal
before
on
they
right.
activate.
Remember the personals and external.
Here's a good frontal. Not bait it towards the middle.
Frontal on right group. Remember to top Ross off.
Vayne is best strike.
So they're playing with these here. Looks like they're gonna start
Okay, so
Okay,
please.
picking a
it's
couple
gonna
up.
be
Vayne.
suppression. Suppression. Watch your feet. Right now, watch your feet. Don't get stunned.
So they're running out. Like I said, this is why I want to have groups so that we
Okay,
don't see what
bomb-
just happened
like,
here.
We're gonna have bombs coming up. Same thing again. If you don't get the bomb, stand
Bomb
together.
blasts are
When it
getting
goes
out.
off, then it baits satchels and the blazes. Give space.
Right, these go off,
At least stand
and then you're
together.
gonna start seal these little bombs up here on the ground before the red
And
circles activate.
Remember to immune.
Here we go.
And then
Yeah,
like,
you see
watch the
one here,
satchels.
right
And be in the soak
here.
on left. Remember the immunity.
This is the immune one, the dangerous one.
Okay, we're gonna have a frontal from the boss. Watch where it goes. It's gonna be the one with the stuns. Really good bait. Suppression. Watch your feet now. Keep watching your feet. Keep
Suppression
watching your
again.
feet.
Mm.
Then it's gonna be a frontal soak on right side. Remember to top them off now. Ross, Vespi, top all of them off. And external them. Watch Ross.
Moving towards the back.
Then it's gonna be the bombs. Watch your health here. Watch people on left side as well. Bombs. Remember
Watch out, watch out.
immunities if possible. Watch them. Immunities. And then give space. Get ready to rescue. Watch the ground. Satchels.
Blazes
die,
and
Ross.
satchels,
Careful.
right? We see all them
Oh,
over
you
here.
want out? It's turned in.
Okay, come over.
There was another bait here.
Come over.
I
Come
have
over.
him. I have
Left.
him.
They don't need to clear
Watch
these, right?
Ross a
Because they're
little
not
bit.
playing that
Watch
area
Ross a
anymore.
little bit. He's in the back.
I have.
Get another soak cone here in a second.
It's gonna be intermission coming up. Be in the middle
Oh,
section,
sorry.
ranged.
Got
Middle
intermission
section.
first.
Remember
The range start in
your
middle.
script here.
Add
Remember the
spawn.
curses in
They
the
get
back.
ropped in.
And late kicks.
They should.
Remember your movement script here.
They're not.
We have
Okay.
2 reses, so instant res
Other
when
rods
needed.
have will probably do that.
And kick middle.
They're on the edge and they're going around.
Okay, res.
Like I
bait.
mentioned,
And
you
then,
guys can
like,
play around
both
this one
focus on
and be
you.
safe.
You have great invis. It's not dying. And then middle one on Ross. Okay. Left group now. Make sure you get into your groups now. Left and
Then
right.
above.
It's gonna be left
they're
soak
soaked.
first. We don't need
Where
to
the people
overuse
aren't
left,
soaking
but
are
left
over
soak
here,
now.
or
Remember
at
the
least on this
externals, the
side.
personals. Okay. Then it's gonna be like the big rocket soaks. Or like, I mean, the big like bombs. So like, remember to spread out how we talked about. The
Bomb
middle space should be
blasts.
free. You wanna stack
Go to the
up.
sides.
Whoever don't get these big circles, stack up.
I think over here,
And what's people that got
the
them?
outside edge.
Stack up. So you spawn the satchels together. And then look where the safe spot is now.
Spawning satchels together over here, so
Satchels
it
on
gets
the
a lot
ground, move
easier.
out with the
The blazes are getting all the way out.
stand
Look how
still once
nice
you
and
find the
clean
spot,
all these
people will move.
satchels are.
Then there's going to be cone on right side. Make sure you use externals on them.
One's over
Personal
here
if you're on
now.
the right side. And health potion if you're on the right side. Just the last frontal you get heal soul. Watch all. Good. Then there's going to be suppression. This is the last bit soak. If you have some, what's this frontal? There's going to be some stuns here.
Frontals down the
Maybe
middle.
strike and bubble remove some
He
of
says
them.
maybe strike
and use
and
some
bubble
speed
remove.
here.
This is their tank. Would be nice just to get
Speed.
this area cleared.
What's
During
the
suppression
ground?
is a good time.
get ready
You don't need to
insta
clean the
res if
ranged one as
anyone
much as
dies.
you
It's
need to
gonna
make
be
sure
the
you
big
clean the
bombs.
melee
This
part.
is the last immunity.
But we'll see what
Immune
we
if
can
you
get.
it. Move into the
I'll
middle if
blast
you
go
don't get
out.
it.
Careful, the boss is
Baiting
a
the
bit out of
satchels,
position.
some speed in
They're
the middle if
baiting
we have it.
satchels together in
and
middle, not really
Dodge,
clean though.
dodge
But
now, and then left soak. Left soak with all the personals and immunities. Make sure there's 5 people in here.
this is the 920 left soak
And last,
that is really
externals
dangerous.
and
Immunes,
personals
things like that.
on left side.
But we won't.
Every external,
Hopefully
sack,
we won't
everything.
see it, but we might.
Good suppression. Last dodge. If you have any movement speed here, use it and like watch your ground.
And then
Watch
here's
your
our
ground.
last
All last
suppression.
personals. All the last personals.
And
then
they're done.
hit the boss.
Come on.
Yeah, the
Nice.
boss.
Let's go.
Alright, so make sure you have your defensives planned out for the night, knowing exactly when you want to pop them to, survive your cone soaks. I will put the timers for the cone soaks in the channel just so people have that as well.